So for this lesson, we're going to be talking about special products. And before we start talking about special products, let's remind ourselves how to find the product of a binomial times a binomial. Okay, remember this is where we used our FOIL method as long as it's a binomial times a binomial. First times first, and I'll go ahead and draw the arrows in. First times first, 5y times 3y gives me 15y squared. Then I go ahead and I do outside times outside. 5y times negative 1 gives me negative 5y. Inside times inside, negative 4 times positive 3y gives me negative 12y. And then last times last, negative 4 times negative 1 gives me positive 4. Then I go ahead and combine my like terms. I get 15y squared minus 5y minus 12y gives me negative 17y plus 4. That's all there is to it. Hopefully by now you're comfortable using FOIL. If not, this is just a quick review. And as long as you remember how to do FOIL, you don't even need to know what we're doing today, because today is just shortcuts. Okay? These shortcuts are helpful. They are not necessary. I'm showing them to you. If you think they're stupid, that's your opinion. Okay? You can always use FOIL. FOIL will always work for binomials. Okay? Yay for FOIL, it always works. But sometimes we have some shortcuts, and it's sometimes nice to be able to use a shortcut. So the first shortcut we're going to have is the square of a sum. Okay? The square of a sum means we have the square of a plus b. And it's the square of a plus twice the product of ab plus the square of b. Lots of words. Look at the part where they just break it down and show it mathematically. Okay, that will make it much easier. If we have something like a plus b squared, so notice I have the square of a sum, I'm adding and then I square it. Well, that's obviously the same thing as saying a plus b times a plus b, because anything squared is just something times itself. As long as you have this situation where it is the same number for a and the same number for b, okay, meaning something like x plus 4 times x plus 4, you can use this shortcut. You cannot use this shortcut if you have something like 2x plus 7 times 3x plus 8. Notice, if I were to look at my a's, are my a's the same? No, obviously they're not the same, and the b's aren't the same either. It's when you've got the exact same thing being multiplied by itself and there is addition. As long as you've got the square of a sum, which means multiplying same thing by itself and there's addition, you can use this shortcut. It's always going to be a squared plus 2 times a times b plus b squared. If you used FOIL, you would get to this exact same answer. It's just this is a shortcut you can use. So for example, if you see x plus 4 squared, and I don't even care if you rewrite this step right here. There's no need to do that if you see this. You would just do a squared plus 2 times a times b. Think about it, 2 times x times 4 would give you 8x, plus b squared gives you 16. This is just a shortcut, don't have to use it. If you would FOIL this out, you would get the exact same thing. So let's go ahead and look at an example. I've got 3x plus 5 squared. Notice, I've got addition, that's the first requirement, and it's being raised to the second power. That's my second requirement. So now, I can use this shortcut. Remember, think about in the alphabet, a always comes first, so there's my a. I've got to do 3x, and I'm going to square it, plus 2 times my a of 3x, times b, and notice b comes second, just like in the alphabet, positive 5, so I'm going to have a positive 5 for my b's. So 2 times my a of 3x times my b of positive 5 plus my positive 5 squared. Now if you notice, I put all of these a's and b's in parentheses. Make sure to do that, because I'm sure some people will be like, oh, it's just a squared? Okay, that's 3x squared. Wrong. 3x squared all of that squared would give you 9x squared, because remember, you have to kind of think of this exponent goes to each part inside, so it's going to be 3 squared times x squared. 3 squared is 9, that's where you get the 9x squared, plus 2 times 3x gives me 6x, times 5 gives me 30x, plus 5 squared gives me 25. This is what you'd get if you'd use a shortcut. Now, if you are not comfortable using this shortcut, remember, you can always rewrite this. Okay, so this is the shortcut. Well, what would happen if I either didn't remember the shortcut or didn't like to use the shortcut? Well, let's look. We'd have 3x plus 5. And remember, it's squared, so that's just 3x plus 5 times 3x plus 5. Notice, binomial times a binomial. That means I can use FOIL. First times first, 3x times 3x, 9x squared. Outside times outside, 3x times 5 plus 15x. Inside times inside, plus 15x. 5x times 3x. Last times last, 5 times 5 plus 25. Combine my like terms, 9x squared plus 15x gives me plus 30x. And then I have my plus 25. And holy smokes, we got the exact same thing as when we used the shortcut. Which is good, because that means the shortcut works. So you can use the shortcut. If you want to use the shortcut, good for you. Okay? If you don't, you'll always get the exact same answer. So you do not have to use this shortcut. It is just something I'm showing you in case you want to use it.